I used to not be interested in history until certain things happen in my life. You learn things. Growing up, I saw, you go to school, you take these classes, and then you are told a story. Let's say you're in social studies class. You were told a story about the Native Americans, pilgrims, the whole massacre that happened. You learn about the Revolutionary War, the Tea Party, this, that, the British, the India. You hear these stories, and growing up, in my head, I could care less. Growing up, society that we live in, parents, friends, everyone is so materialistic, which you have to be, you have to survive. How can you survive in this materialistic world without having materialistic things? You need to generate a way to figure out you need to figure out a way to generate material, way to get material through it used to be gold, money, different ways, this and that, business or this. You, we live in a material world, so I do agree that we shouldn't abandon material things. But when that becomes the sole purpose, and when society, and that's a whole separate topic, and I even lost my train of thought in this video. We are not taught to look deep into history. We are told what happened, but we are not ever asked or ever taught to question what exactly happened. Have you ever thought, okay, even in your own head, some event happens. Let's say you go through a breakup. Let's say you go through, you had a bankruptcy. You get arrested. You're doing something and you get arrested. Let's just say that. And you are going to tell a story in your head, or let's say a year later you tell a story about the time you were in your breakup, or you were, you know, doing something where something bad happened. You're going to tell that story from a perspective that is from your perspective. It's hard to tell a story from a perspective that is not your own perspective. And that's where empathy comes in play, in which I think we all lack. And I wish I could give my empathy away to people, because sometimes it's way too much. And I've made some videos regarding empathy. If you scroll down, I'll put it in the description. It's interesting how just emotions work, and how other people, you can kind of feel this and that. And it's the language you use is like you're doing surgery with your words in someone's brain, and you can literally um, change the neurochemistry in someone's between the neurons, the synapses between the neurons, where dopamine, serotonin, all this shit's going on. There's a way where you can say certain things certain in a certain way, a certain tone. I mean, you watch a movie, you hear something, a song, and it creates goosebumps, right? You might hear your favorite song and it motivates you before you're getting into the gym, before you're about to work out, or you're getting up in the shower, and that song creates goosebumps. It that sound, words associated to the meaning of those letters put together, syntax, created that neurochemical change. So, there's a lot that goes. I can make a whole separate, I have a video talking about that. It's called something Curse of Empathy in 2025. If you scroll down, I'll also have a link in my description, in the comments. I found it interesting. I want to make more videos regarding that. If you find that stuff interesting, let me know in the comments. I like a back and forth. I like getting feedback on these videos, if what I'm saying makes sense, if it relates to you, if it touches your cerebral in any way. History, we are not taught to question what happened. We are taught to watch it like a TV show, and or just learn it as a TV show. And these are the events that happened. And okay, who said that this happened? Who wrote this book? Okay, who wrote the Bible? They say there was some Peter wrote this, that, and then the other original text was lost, or because you're going to be promoting a certain agenda if you are in control of distributing the world's, a book that is going to brainwash not just the Bible, any religious text is going to be used to brain. I mean, brainwash has a bad connotation to it because you think of brainwash as negative. You can brainwash yourself in a positive way. It's just a tool. A tool can be used for destruction or creation. No, it's dependent on. I mean, same with. There's no such thing as good and bad. I mean, yes, you can destroy things and create things. That's a whole other topic. In society, we create what's good and bad. So we are not taught to question these historical events. We are not taught to, wonder. We kind of grow up. I see these conspiracy theories. Alex Jones screaming about this and that, and it makes sense. I've sat there for hours in the past, coming down from an acid trip, listening to Alex Jones, and allegedly, and things make sense. But then you're like, what? How? And then everyone has saying negative things towards Alex Jones, and conspiracy theories are just for crazy people. You should be more rational. Are you not an adult? Are you in a fantasy world? You have the people in power have created this, force you to live in a fantasy world. Of course, everyone's in their own fantasy world. Who isn't? No, there's no real objective world unless you're I mean, what would it be? Everyone is in their own world. That is what is truly going on. You are in your own world. I'm in my own world. And when two people meet, the worlds collide. And sometimes, when you think the other person you're interacting with isn't the same organism as you, you view them as less than you, or you think too much of them and pedestalize them. Everyone is just a human being. No matter Bill Gates, no matter the Plantera CEO, Sam Altman, whatever it is. Recently, I have found interest in learning about my own history. When you go through certain events in your life, whether that's, look, I've talked enough about, everyone goes through shit in their life. And I don't like talking over and over again about, oh man, this happened and that happened. But when you've gone through some shit over and over again, and it's from the same mistake, especially as an example with addiction. I've had addiction issues, and it's a constant struggle every day. Not that I'm thinking of using drugs every day, but I use nicotine. I'll hit the pen every now and then. Coffee, addictive behaviors, not necessarily to substances, but attention seeking behaviors. My phone, constantly feeling like I need to be learning or listening to some like lecture, and I do like sitting in silence. But we all have compulsive eating, we all have, like, it's never going to be perfect. And so that's what I mean when I'm saying consistently. And if you think you are not addicted to something, then I praise you, or you are lying to me or yourself. The more I learned about myself, what I'm Indian, Hindu, Sikh, starting learning about those religions, and things started to make more sense. And then learning about other religions, Christianity, Judaism, Muslim. I haven't gone too deep into every single one, but learning more about history and connecting, it makes sense once you've learned the religions and how history works, and you're like, damn, what I thought all of this was just in the background, like, oh, it's just a religion. It's not just religions. These religions are controlling how our world and our reality is working. Belief systems control your reality. These religions, they're not bad. It's just a tool. Like I said, brainwashing can be used for good and bad, and good and bad is subjective to your survivability. If it favors your survivability and your family's survivability, then it's good, even if that means hurting other people. I have learned to value looking back at history because it can be very predictive. You can see patterns. I can see patterns of my addictive behavior and my addiction in the past, being addicted to opioids, to painkillers, this and that, compulsive. You see how, okay, I made that bad decision when I was younger. Why? What thoughts did I have before that happened? And you can see it wasn't just something happened before a relapse happens. It's a chain of events. And if you can see those chain of events occurring, this bad thing happened, or this happened, and then this thought came, you can see you can predict what's most likely going to happen next, what behavior is going to happen next. You can understand that if I say and speak in this way, I can predict that this person is most likely going to react in a negative way or in a positive way, depending on what is said, depending on what the previous chain of events were. Yes, one event could happen and it can just cause a huge effect. A small cause can cause a huge effect, technically. It's deeper than that. I'll make more videos on this. I have to learn more about this, do more research so I can, speak more clearly and you can understand these thoughts more deeply. Rather than just being a vague concept that I kind of learned from watching, reading, understanding. Wikipedia is actually pretty interesting. You search something on Wikipedia, and obviously I've known of Wikipedia my whole life, but I've never actually looked up like what is Zoroaster, whatever the fucking word is. I mean, what is Kronos, Greek mythology? What is the relationships of Judaism and Muslims? What's the hatred coming from? What's this temple? What's that? And then it shows you a whole. But then, you see these things and you are taught to question things, especially Predictive History Channel. Check him out. Professor from China, very interesting stuff. It made me really understand that what I have been told my whole life, what you are told, sometimes the story of your family history might be skewed to favor, this side or that side, make someone look like the bad guy, make yourself look like the good guy, vice versa. Manipulation games are played everywhere. History is history, whether that's your own day-to-day, what happened today, and then you can scale that out from a week, what happened last week, last month, and kind of that's why I do believe journaling is very good. And I have been slacking. I have been slacking on journaling because it is a good way to go back and you can understand what thoughts was I having. Okay, this day, I felt really good this day. I remember because it was this and so happened. And you can go back and read what you were feeling, what ideas you were having, and the chain of events that happened before. And you can predict a lot of things like this. And it's not just to be a predictive master and start predicting everything. And it's more of an insight that comes into your head and things just click. It's when you see the truth in things, and it's not just some verbal diarrhea and there's actual truth to what is being heard, then that sticks. And that makes you really understand what is going on. Thank you for watching. If you've come this far, let me know in the comments below what is something you're interested in that is just bothering you, some problem that you're having in your relationships, or you're wondering what, like something that I said in this video that made you think I relate to that, but I don't understand fully why I feel this way, why this, why that. I appreciate and read all of the comments and reply to all of you guys. I find that very valuable. It gives me more knowledge on what type of titles and videos, topics to make next. I gotta go back to studying for this real estate exam that I'm gonna take by the end of the year. That's my plan. I'm gonna pass it. I was off by 2 points. Failed it 3 times. First time I was off by like 4 points, and then the last 2, I was off by 2 points. Obviously, my confidence was low going into the exam. I kept getting, I wanted to get 80% on the practice exam. I kept getting 78, 79. I didn't feel confident going into the exam. Now I've been taking exams and I'm doing better. So when I go in to take this, I have 3 more attempts. Thankfully, they gave the more attempts. I have to redo the course up. So I've been kind of fast forwarding through it because I have learned, and I am currently learning more and more every day. So I'm going to get back to that. And if you find real estate interesting, I can make more videos regarding that or a whole separate channel. Thank you guys. Appreciate you. Love you.